planted a flag for episode 4, and I have 3 more illustrations for my short series. I also threw in a little something special this week. In the first of the 3 illustrations, the Shipwright is hiding from a terrifying creature. Harkening back to Predator, he's covered himself in mud, partly to obscure his scent, but perhaps this creature can sense heat as well. It's another way to show rather than tell that this protagonist has a deeper knowledge of how these creatures behave and how to operate in a world as dangerous as this one. The creature is a massively oversized Costantsuchus atrox. Think crocodile on dog legs. I'm taking liberties like this because it's fun, and really that should be the end of it. For lovers of prehistoric creatures, I am not making a scientific documentary, but if it helps, it's good to remember that the fossil record we do have represents maybe 2% of everything that was alive, so it provides some wiggle room that I'm going to use to my advantage. The characters stuck in the Atrix's teeth are there partly to demonstrate the threat of this creature, but 80% of the reason they're there is just to show its scale. For this next image, I wanted a group of nefarious and dangerous looking characters approaching in the midst of some ruins. I had a rough sketch, and I started detailing it out, but I'll admit I really struggled with this one, partly because I missed my paper and pencil thumbnailing stage. There really is something special that happens on the paper that then translates to the final image. In this case, my thumbnail was done digitally, and as I tried to flesh it out, something just didn't quite feel right. I suspect it's that when you're at the thumbnail stage, you really have to focus on what's most important, and it's a lot easier to get a handle on composition. I felt like my first sketch was almost too sterile. Now, I really should have just gone back to paper, but instead I stubbornly tried a looser sketch. It got somewhat closer, so I moved the needle, and that's great, but it still wasn't quite what I was looking for. In retrospect, now I can describe a little bit of what I was missing. I wanted the central figure to be really imposing, to have a very solid frame, and to feel not just aggressive, but capable. So I sketched up the anatomy I had in mind, and then reposed it to get the performance I wanted. Since this image is more about a mysterious threat, I leaned even harder on black silhouettes. The characters in the background are completely obscured in shadow. My original intent with this shot was to go for a very desaturated mist, but it was a wrestle between how dim I wanted the shot to be and legibility. So while I thought I got to a point that I liked, what it really needed was a splash of red, just to make sure the main figure really read as strongly as possible. For the last of the 3 illustrations, we have an initiation ritual. The witches have a new recruit. This is the first step, where she drinks a mysterious concoction. What does it do? Well, imagine something pretty bad, and that's probably what it does. This was another opportunity to hide the more desiccated witches in silhouette, so we can apprehend how awful they are, but not fully comprehend. One crone ensures that the entirety of the mixture is consumed, while in the back, younger witches lose themselves in a trance. I wanted this scene to feel very dark, while still allowing for silhouettes to read clearly. So it was another balancing act to make sure the values were reading how I wanted them to. Adding a little bit of light coming through the tent helped me to keep the idea of darkness and shadow, while still punching those silhouettes out even more. Now, I said I had something special this week, and technically, it is an ad, but don't freak out, it's my ad, and wanted to go a little bit above and beyond for this one. If you like where Dead Gods is going, but you're feeling impatient for Book 1 to be completed, I do have another story that's available now. Before this project, I spent over 3 years working on a visual story called Tellurion. It's an adventure story told entirely through images. It follows a young man who's been disregarded by the world. An old robot takes him under his wing, and he joins his quest to search for a missing blade. They come across a mysterious girl who seems to know where it might be, and their journey takes them across the world, and eventually over the edge of it. I thought it would be nice to draw 2 of the characters, having a quiet moment together. They change a lot over the course of the story, so I just picked one moment out of the midst of the whole story, and thought of this as something that could be slipped in between them. Some downtime after they discovered the secret ruins, but before they reached the city. If you want, you can check out the whole thing for free on my website, and if you like it and want a physical copy of it, it's available in soft and hardcover. While I'm on this subject, if you're interested in supporting independent projects like this one, I'd be thrilled to have you join me on Patreon. I've got some lower tier levels, and higher tier give you access to a private server that is starting to fill up with a lot of really creative and interesting people. In fact, I had a talk with some of them the other night, and here's a preview of how that went.
What are you talking about? You don't just splat paint on a canvas?
Yeah, the way I would do it is, what if Noah was Conan?
And I was like, I'll take a look at it. And then I watched one video and felt myself being pulled into the rabbit hole.
And I'm spoiling this for just you who are here now.
If you had the
Yeah.
budget, what would you do with Dead Gods as an intellectual property?
They say, what do they say? Iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
Pretty sure-
I'm gonna be cheesy as hell right now and say how glad I am to have subscribed to this Patreon and have access to the server. Like,
Good.
When you're working on a creative project, it is invaluable to have people around you to discuss things with, or sometimes just to vent with. If you're not ready for any of those things, that's totally cool too. Press YouTube buttons, follow me on whatever social media you use. I'm just thrilled to have everyone along for this. Now, episode 4 begins. I've got 3 panels here, and I'll go through them pretty quickly. The Shipwright is sleeping. I'll spoil something for you that you're going to find out in the next few panels, but he's home. Part of the hint of that is that his blanket and pillow and part of his mat are red. For those who've been following along, red fabric has an association to his wife. It represents her craft and love of home. In this last panel for the week, he sits up, realizing that his wife isn't beside him. Something that came in really handy was that ages ago, I did some very rough design for his house. So I have a vague conception of how it's laid out, some of the style of it. In particular, using live wood as often as possible. Rather than cut and planed, a lot of his architecture uses stripped and polished tree trunks. And so we have some morning light shining in, and we'll call this panel complete. So it's great to have episode 4 finally started, and we'll see how this goes. Thanks for watching.